This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Hello viewers, you're watching Pulse of Africa. I'm Jalani Tesfaye for the main news. First, our top stories for today. IGAD to convene 43rd Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government on South Sudan. Algeria and Tunisia discuss strengthening border cooperation. Widespread damage in Mozambique following passage of Cyclone Jude. U.S. stock market loses $4 trillion in value amid fears of economic downturn. Now, the news in detail. The Intergovernmental Authority and Development, IGAD, is set to convene the 43rd Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government to address the evolving situation in South Sudan. Recent clashes in the northern East Upper Nile state between forces allied to the president and first vice president are threatening a fragile power-sharing agreement. Following this conflict, many are expressing their concerns that conflict and political upheaval would be renewed in South Sudan. In its press release sent to POA, IGAD, the summit will be held virtually on Wednesday, March 12, 2025. IGAD, as the guarantor of the revitalized agreement, RARCSS, remains steadfast in its commitment to promoting dialogue, de-escalating tensions, and securing a peaceful future for the people of South Sudan. Now to Algeria and Tunisia. Algeria and Tunisia discussed ways of strengthening cooperation at their borders to combat smuggling. This came during a telephone conversation between Algerian Prime Minister Nadir Labourai and his Tunisian counterpart Kamal Madouri. According to a statement by the Algerian government, the two sides reaffirmed their joint commitment to intensify efforts to promote bilateral cooperation in various fields with a view to strategic integration in line with the shared vision of the two leaders. They also reviewed the current status and prospects of bilateral cooperation in various fields, especially the development of border areas. In addition, they discussed ways to address common challenges, especially the issue of smuggling, within the framework of the Joint Committee for the Development of Border Cooperation between the two countries. Moving on to Cameroon. Cameroonian troops have carried out an operation in the country's far north region, killing at least 4 members of the Boko Haram terror group, security sources said on Monday. The military offensive was launched on Sunday night in the Walasa locality of Far North, according to a senior military official in the region. It was a successful mission. The terrorists tried to fight back when our troops attacked, but they were overcome. Several of them escaped with wounds. We seized several of their weapons. Our brave forces will continue to secure the region and protect civilians against the terrorists, the official, who asked not to be named, told the media. Shifting to Mozambique. Cyclone Jude crashed through Mozambique on Monday with winds of up to 120 km per hour and torrential rain. It caused flooding and widespread damage to infrastructure, leaving people homeless and without power. The Mozambique National Institute of Meteorology said the tropical storm made its landfall over the districts of Mozaril in Nampula province in the early hours of the morning. Locals in Nankala, a city in the province, were taken aback by its severity, noting that the situation in the region is already fragile and that humanitarian response capacity have been overwhelmed by 2 recent cyclones, one in December and the other in January. UNICEF said it has been working with the government to distribute emergency kits and other forms of assistance to those affected. In other news, President Volodymyr Zelensky met Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman ahead of talks between Ukrainian and U.S. officials that Washington hopes will be deliver substantial progress towards ending Russia's war with Ukraine. During the meeting in Jeddah, the Crown Prince underscored the kingdom's support for international efforts to resolve Ukraine's crisis and achieving peace, the Saudi state news agency SPA reported early on Tuesday. The United States has upended its policy on the conflict and its stated pursuit of a rapid end to the fighting, engaging directly with Moscow while stopping military assistance and intelligence sharing for Ukraine. Moving on to our next story. Several of China's top universities have declared plans to expand undergraduate enrollment in 2025 with a sharp focus on national strategic priorities and cutting-edge technologies. Both Tsinghua and Peking universities announced plans to expand their undergraduate intake by around 150 undergraduate spots each. Tsinghua University will establish a new undergraduate general education college to focus on cultivating interdisciplinary talents in artificial intelligence. Renmin University will add over 100 places in areas such as AI. Other institutions such as Shanghai Jiaotong University and Wuhan University are expanding places in AI, renewable energy, and integrated circuits to meet national strategic needs.
Only on the Pulse of Africa channel, all the time. Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Now, turning to business news. The annual meetings of the African Development Bank Group will be held from May 26 to 30, 2025 in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. The annual meetings will address key cross-cutting issues such as digital transformation, institutional strengthening, and good governance. This holistic approach is in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, the Paris Climate Agreement, Agenda 2063 of the African Union, and the bank's High 5S. More than 3,000 participants are expected to attend, including several heads of state, finance ministers, heads of financial and development institutions, think tanks, NGOs, private sector stakeholders, academia, and opinion leaders. Finally, US President Donald Trump's tariffs have spooked investors with fears of an economic downturn driving a stock market sell-off that has wiped out $4 trillion from the S&P 500's peak last month when Wall Street was cheering much of Trump's agenda. A barrage of new Trump policies has increased uncertainty for businesses, consumers, and investors, notably back-and-forth tariff moves against major trading partners like Canada, Mexico, and China. The stock market sell-off deepened on Monday. The benchmark S&P 500 fell 2.7%, its biggest daily drop of the year. The Nasdaq Composite slid 4%, its largest one-day decline since September 2022. Before concluding, let us provide you with the latest updates on global commodities prices. That is all for today, and thanks for watching Pulse of Africa.
This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.